Andrea, thank you. To list off Chris Hadfield's accomplishments would probably take more time than we actually have for our interview this morning. So in short, he's an astronaut, a test pilot, space station commander, a man whose passion for sharing his out-of-this-world space experience delighted us mere Earthlings. You remember that moment? But these days, launch day means something different. Chris Hadfield is launching a new book, his first novel, and he's joining us this morning. So good to talk to you.
Good morning, Lindsey. Yeah, it is. It's an exciting launch week, and all launches put little butterflies in my stomach, and I have those now also.
Oh, well, congratulations on the new book. I have it right here. It is called The Apollo Murders. It opens with, I have to read this first line, okay, because this really just sucked me right in. The first line says, "I lost my left eye on a beautiful autumn morning with not a cloud in the sky." So it opens with this pilot losing his eye during a bird strike. Now, this is something, when you learn how to fly, you learn about. When I did my pilot's license, which was a really, really long time ago, I remember being really surprised about learning about how serious it is a bird strike can be. And if you make contact with a bird, I mean, you've had experience with this. Walk us through that.
Yeah, and my pilot's license was a long time ago also, but I've flown some pretty fast airplanes, about 100 different types of airplanes, and I was flying an F-18 like Canada's Air Force has, going 550 miles an hour, 100 feet above the water down when I was a test pilot, and hit a seagull. And it really, I just missed it, so it didn't come through the canopy, but it very badly beat up the airplane. So yeah, it's a tragic thing, but boy, it can have wicked consequences, like in the book Holding Up, bad consequences when that happens.
Exactly. Well, talk to me about the plot of this novel. It is fiction, but you're writing about a real mission, Apollo 18, and sort of repurposing it as a spy mission. What's the story behind what happened with Apollo 18? Because it was canceled in real life. So walk us through that.
Yeah, it's alternative history fiction. Nixon canceled Apollo 18 and 19, the end of the Vietnam War and Watergate and fear of another Apollo 13. But they'd already built the rocket, and they'd already built the capsule. And so that's the premise for the Apollo murders. But there's some real life events going on in the Soviet Union. They had a secret spy space station that mysteriously malfunctioned. They had a secret rover on the moon that mysteriously malfunctioned. Those were all real life events. And so I just chose this twisted plot that connects all those things together in the spring of '73 and comes back to this roaring conclusion at Splashdown in the water just north of Hawaii.
So lots of authors have tackled space. Not a lot of them have actually spent any time there. There's that old adage, write what you know. In terms of research, what did you have to research the most? Because I'm guessing the space stuff was probably top of mind. You knew that. So what was your research process like?
Lindsey, I love research. I mean, that's what's kept me alive as a test pilot and an astronaut my whole life. I just love learning all the new stuff. And so when I set that this was going to be in the spring of '73, I just dug into everything. And yeah, the personal space experience was extremely helpful in writing, but learning everything about the Soviet program and their secret station, and then, how they communicated and just putting it all together. It was like someone jumbled this enormous possible collection of jigsaw puzzles, and I had to choose the ones for my puzzle and make them all fit together. And then occasionally I couldn't find it anywhere and had to phone a friend. But fortunately, I could just call one of the moonwalkers or
Awesome.
someone who had worked in the Apollo program to make sure I had the detail right.
That's so awesome. And so you've written your memoir. You've published a gorgeous photo book. You've written a children's book, which my family loves, by the way. But this is your first novel. So how was the writing process for this one different?
It was wildly different. I don't know if you've written fiction. It was a first time for me. I approach it like everything. Let's, set an objective, study like crazy, try and gain some skills. I read Stephen King's book on writing. I watched, a master class, and then I read some of the best thriller fiction ever, and really took it apart to see how did they write that. And then, like all writers, I just needed to start writing. And so as I wrote, I learned and got better at it like anybody, but it was a real interesting, like any new skill, like when you learn to fly, and suddenly you get sort of a liberation from it. And being able to write fiction, it's just great because you can really get into how people would react. It's not like my other three books. This is really visceral, and you can bring the reader along for this wild ride. And then hopefully when you put down the Apollo murders, when you get to the last page, you'll really have this gut sense of what it's like to live on board a spaceship and fly with other people and have good things and bad things go wrong.
Oh, so compelling. I can't let you go without sharing this video you shared on social media. I'm going to file this under things I didn't know about Chris Hadfield. Okay, so if we can show this, you are an amazing water skier. What? Is this what life looks like when you're not writing or doing all the other things you do? This is awesome.
I've been a 3-event water skier my whole life, but now I'm mostly I just slalom. And to me, that's the best way to exercise in the morning if you can find someone to drive your boat.
It's pretty awesome. And you know what? I was also thinking about you while watching all of the rockets blast off into space and William Shatner going up. And I was wondering what you were thinking about all of this space tourism that's happening.
Well, you know, obviously it's still a very dangerous thing to do, and Bill Shatner's a friend, and I was very glad that he had that experience, you know, at 90. But I think my feelings are summed up actually best by the little gut pouring out emotion that came out of Bill in the 3 or 4 minutes after he landed. He just stood up with this awestruck amazement at what he had just seen about our planet, because I described it many times, and I thought he thought he was just going to go for a ride, but he actually got to see the curvature of the Earth and be in the blackness of space. And he said, "I hope I never recover from this." And I know I've never recovered from it. And so I think we've got to regulate it and figure it all out. But I was delighted to see the human impact on one person that seeing the world like that can have.
Well, congratulations on the book. It is awesome. It said Page Turner. The book is called The Apollo Murders. Chris Hadfield, always good to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Fly safe.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.